We all know that 10 years ago Yulia Tymoshenko, together with other influential officials in Moscow and Kiev, was involved in the biggest corruption scandal to the amount of $300 million. The case is not solved yet. Today Yulia Tymoshenko remains a powerful political player, which means that there are certainly people who will want to search missing millions. What was this scam of the century like, and how long will the Orange Queen land on her feet? You will find out the details in our special report. Here is General Georgy Oleynik, former Chief Financial Officer of the Ministry of Defense. His name is now associated with the scam of the century, as a result of which the Russian treasury was emptied at as much as $300 million. It all began in 1996. Ukraine had owed Russia $350 million for natural gas. The film Data was headed by the future Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko. Neither Yulia Tymoshenko nor Ukraine had this money, so a brilliant solution was found. Instead of cash, Tymoshenko would pay in kind to the Russian side. Leonid Ivashov, the head of the International Military Cooperation of the Defense Ministry of the Russian Federation from 1996 to 2002. Of course, Ukraine could not give solid cash. That's why the decision was taken that these debts should be claimed through the delivery of some tangible assets. Well, it was agreed that Ukraine could supply out some kind of building materials, first of all bathroom equipment and other sorts of building equipment needed for housing destined for military personnel. As far as the big money was concerned, the deal was discussed at the highest level. From the Ukrainian side, decisions were made by Yulia Tymoshenko and the Prime Minister at that time, Pavel Lazarenko. From the Russian side were Andrei Vavilov, who was holding the post of the Deputy Finance Minister, Viktor Chernomyrdin, the then Prime Minister, and Igor Rodionov, the Minister of Defense. It seemed that the solution is very simple. Ukraine supplies building materials to Russia to the amount of $450 million, and that's all. However, for some reason, the scheme begins to get more complex. As we know, the Ukrainian company owes money to Gazprom, which takes out a bank loan. Then it sends the money through the Ministry of Finance to the Ministry of Defense. Victor Baranets, military expert, a former press secretary of the Ministry of Defense. The following things happened next. The Ministry of Defense was informed of a contract with the Ukrainian side to the amount of $450 million. This was something like a two-way contract. It was divided into two parts. One part was $250 million in one tranche, and the second one was $200 million. The story turned out to be rather strange. Through the Department of Defense, Russia itself transfers to Ukraine money, which they transfer back to repay debts for gas. Meanwhile, Tymoshenko is obliged to supply construction materials to the amount of $450 million. It would be logical to transfer money to Ukraine, if they already owe us, but only after receiving the goods. However, the main financier of the Ministry of Defense, General Oleynik, signs all papers without waiting for it. Victor Baranets, military expert, a former press secretary for the Ministry of Defense. I should say there was an instruction from the government in the name of Rodionov. Rodionov, of course, had already partially agreed on this issue with Chernomyrdin. He ordered Oleynik to sign this document, because it had been agreed with the Prime Minister. Oleynik signed the papers, following the instruction of the Minister of Defense and the Prime Minister. That's it. In this, the formula ended. Already after signing the contract, the information revealed that the Ukrainian company had been selling to Russia construction materials at a price 5 times higher than their market value. But why did the main financier of Ministry of Defense sign a contract on such unfavorable terms? Leonid Ivashov, head of the International Military Cooperation of the Defense Ministry from 1996 to 2002. You should understand that Georgy Oleynik, well, he was trapped in this situation. I know what pressure the Chief of Staff was putting at him then, shouting, "You are hesitating here, and we have nothing to feed people with. Housing is at a standstill for long, but you cannot take a decision." When he brought them the paper, he asked to let him sign up, give him the go go ahead to buy at those prices. Of course, none of the officials signed personally. They did not accept this legal decision, but well, as his commanders, they were pressing on him, saying he was a bureaucrat. However, now the plot thickens. Having supplied the equipment to the amount of $120 million, the Ukrainian side ceased cooperation at all. Nobody knows where goods were lost to the amount of another $300 million plus. It is clear that Tymoshenko alone would not have had enough courage to violate the terms of the contract this way. So the conclusion comes that he had high-ranking patrons. Indeed, at this time, the amount of almost $100 million comes to the banking account of the then Prime Minister of Ukraine, Pavel Lazarenko. Nikolai Azarov, head of the State Tax Administration of Ukraine from 1996 to 2002. Everyone knows that Lazarenko operates on the principle 50-50. It has been proved that the money had appeared in the account of the Prime Minister of Ukraine, and exactly from nowhere but from the accounts of the company headed by Yulia Tymoshenko. What kind of services can cost so much? Nikolai Obikod, former Deputy Prosecutor General of Ukraine. This case of transferring funds to the amount of more than $86 million from accounts controlled by the leaders of United Energy System of Ukraine to the personal account of Pavel Lazarenko was, in my opinion, illegally terminated at the initiative of the Prosecutor General of Ukraine, Sviatoslav Piskun. Thus, a direct participant of fraud, Yulia Tymoshenko, avoided responsibility then. In the investigation process of the case in Russia, strange things happened as well. All the people involved that tried to dig deeper were immediately made suspended or removed from the investigation, regardless of rank and title. Someone was clearly directing the investigation and tried to bend around sharp corners. For instance, the attention was repeatedly attracted to the fact that such influential people as Andrei Vavilov, Deputy Finance Minister, Igor Rodionov, Minister of Defense, and Prime Minister Viktor Chernomyrdin were involved in the transaction. You start to think more about all that when you see the first Deputy Prosecutor General having right in front of him on the table crushing facts about illegal acts and crimes of the first Deputy Finance Minister. And he said, "I do not want to see it. Remove it all immediately." And how much of this $300 million came to the pocket of this person? This is evident. We can, of course, only make suppositions about it. It seems to me family had divided the money. It was a clever fraud in which someone had to become a scapegoat. I'm sorry for the sort of obscene phrase, but it was certainly General Aleynik, who I sincerely feel sorry for. It's quite a lot of money without any doubts, but today no one's certain it. Nikolai Azarov, head of the State Tax Administration of Ukraine from 1996 to 2002. The aggrieved party is, first of all, Russia. Therefore, if Russia is interested in getting their money back, then the matter should probably be revived by Russia. As a result, $327 million simply vanished somewhere between Moscow and Kiev. As far as you understand, this matter could compromise not only Tymoshenko, but also a number of other very influential politicians in Moscow and Kiev. Such dirt in politics is surely a very effective tool. Experts believe that both in Russia and in the US, as it was an American company, documents do exist that can indicate exactly who, whom to, when, and how much. But as long as only General Aleynik is in prison so far, it means the game is being continued.